Honourable Secretary Civil Aviation Udan ji, CEO Airbus Michael ji, President Airbus India Remy Mayard ji, distinguished industry leaders, and also some esteemed guests in the audience, Nripendra Mishra ji, former Principal Secretary to PM, and also Honourable Syed Akbaruddin ji, former Permanent Representative of India to the United Nations, members of the industry, family of the Airbus, and all the important dignitaries and friends from media. Namaste, bonjour, and welcome everyone to another important milestone in the Airbus India collaborative story. I must take a moment to appreciate the wonderful cultural performance also which was performed here, and to give an idea about how deeply Airbus has been integrated with the Indian ethos is the event itself, which starts with the Ganesh Vandana. In our culture, we start anything auspicious with blessings of Lord Ganesha, and that is how Airbus has started this event. That shows that Airbus is not just another company which is operating in India, but is deeply instilled in the very fabric of India. So I once again thank them for all the efforts they have put in for the past 60 years, and now coming up to this very important milestone of the inauguration ceremony of a wonderful facility that we are in right now. And in fact, this facility we were supposed to inaugurate on an earlier date itself. But because of the untimely demise of a legendary icon, especially in the Indian aerospace, and who has been always passionate and a great human being, Ratan Tata ji, because of his sudden demise, we couldn't do it on that day. But I think whatever we are experiencing today in the Indian aviation industry, lot has to be attributed or contributed to the vision and passion that that man has shown in his lifetime. So on this event, through this platform, I once again pay my tributes to the great human being Ratan Tata ji. And it has also been a great honor on this important occasion of Airbus India and South Asia headquarters inauguration. The presence of so many esteemed leaders, stakeholders from the industry is a testament to the importance of this facility. I extend my heartfelt congratulations to Airbus and their family on the inauguration of their first fully owned headquarters and training center in the whole of Asia. And it is a matter of pride that it is located right here in India, in the heart of India, in the capital city of Delhi. This landmark achievement reflects unwavering commitment of Airbus to the growth of Indian aerospace and also the defense sector. And as I was taking a tour of the building, I was really impressed by seeing the cutting edge technology and the facilities that I brought in. And my good friend Remy was telling that even if you go to any other facility Airbus has done across the world, you will see that there is a harmonization, uniformity that you will find. So I'm proudly saying that this facility is up to the global standards that you would find anywhere in the world. With a capacity to train 800 pilots and 200 technicians annually, the facility would really help to address the growing aviation requirement that we are going to see in the coming future years. Under our Honourable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji's leadership, India has become the third largest aviation domestic market in the world. And the number of civil aviation aircrafts today is 800, like our Secretary Sir has told. In the last 10 years, we have seen everything getting doubled. Let it be the airports, let it be the airlines, let it be the passengers. Anything you pick up in civil aviation, we have seen in that last 10 years, there has been a stupendous amount of growth. And that has been a possibility because of the long-term vision that our Honourable Prime Minister has given us and the civil aviation industry. And the 800 aircrafts that we have today, and we are seeing that there are orders up to 1,500 more coming. And we have some of the players here also. Air India is there. Indigo is also there. One of the highest orders have been made from the Indian airspace industry. And also, if you look at the next 20 years, we might need another 4,000 aircrafts also to cater to the demand of Indian aviation sector. So if you look at so many planes coming into the Indian fleet, Indian airspace, imagine how many skilled workforce that you would need. So it is, I feel that with this idea that to address the growing skilled workforce requirement that India and the whole South Asia is going to face in the coming future, this facility has come up with great standards today. And however, there is also a concern that with this rapid skilling of workforce, we need top class facilities that also. And Airbus is catering for that, for which I'm also very happy and proud to say that it's the first of its kind in India and indeed in Asia, where a training facility for pilots is strategically located within the proximity of an airport also, which is the Indira Gandhi International Airport right next to us. As I reflect on the Airbus remarkable journey in India, I appreciate their initiatives are not only strategic, but also spread across the length and breadth of the country also. From the development of helicopters in collaboration with HAL, which I've also seen in the AV that has been presented, the whole growth story or the collaboration started 60 years ago. And to more recent partnerships also with Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO, Airbus has made significant contributions to Indian aerospace and defense sector. The company's commitment to make in India aircraft like the C-295 in Vadodara, which is also going to be launched in the coming days under the guidance of Honourable Prime Minister. Now the H-125 helicopter also truly demonstrate how deeply Airbus is embedded in the Indian aviation ecosystem. And I sincerely thank Airbus for all this kind of collaboration that they have done. And I appreciate the investments Airbus has made towards skill development, partnerships with the top IITs of the country, and now this advanced training facility also. Also, in the first month of me being a Civil Aviation Minister, I had the privilege of being part of a memorandum MOU signing between the Airbus and also Gati Shakti Vidyalaya, which is also a brainchild of our Honourable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, so that we can integrate all the logistics systems of the country. Let it be the airways, that be the ports, railways, roadways, everything integrated together. And not only bringing them together and one umbrella, but also helping them get skilled by the important players in the industry. So that MOU was also signed. And these are some of the important collaborations that have been happening on the skilling level also. One, we are seeing on the infrastructure level what is required. And in terms of skilling the workforce also, there have been multiple folds of understandings that have been happening. And as we define the need for more such investments, like the one we are sitting in right now, we have to offer the best onshore training to our pilots and technicians. I firmly believe that the airport should not be seen just as merely transporting hubs of moving people from one place to another, but they should be seen as places for job creation, for economic activity and commerce centers. There is a need to develop the airport ecosystems and turning them into drivers of opportunity and standard of living livelihoods. And utilizing this platform, I must say that Airbus is serving as a vital bridge, cementing the ties between India and Europe, especially France, facilitating the exchange of innovation, investment, and collaboration. Even recently, when I attended the event organized by the French companies, the GFAS and the FICI, I was overwhelmed by the response that the French companies have shown there. More than 60 companies have participated. More than 100 dignitaries were all there, and they were so much interested to see how India was progressing in the aerospace and defense industries, and they were willing to make significant contributions and significant collaborations with our country itself. And today we see that France is being the 11th largest investor in India, with more than 750 French companies invested in India and employing more than 450,000 people. And one of the major drivers for having these French companies come to India and have the trust and put up so much investment in India, one of the major contributors and one of the major driver has been Airbus. So once again, I would like to take this platform for to thank the Airbus industry also. And as we work together to drive innovation and progress, aviation would play a crucial role in bringing both our countries closer. And while there is a continuous need of upgrading the aviation infrastructure and technology, I also want to point out that aviation is ultimately about the people. The passengers, the pilots, the technicians, the skilled professionals, the workforce, who all combinedly make the airspace more safer and more secure. With the expanding air travel, the stress on pilots, especially both physical and mental, is kind of increasing, and I'm talking to more and more pilots and I see a similar trend happening across. And the state-of-the-art simulators that we are going to set up today are going to provide a world-class training environment where pilots can practice complex flight scenarios and emergency procedures in a very realistic yet controlled environment. This will play a vital role in improving the skill sets of pilots and training them for having a very safe air travel in the sky. And from the safety aspect, I also see that the simulators in the country, especially the one we have started today, 2 of them, the DGCA has been auditing them. They can keep a very strong oversight and regulatory audits for the kind of training that they are being given to the pilots, not just from India, but also from abroad. The facility, with its first E320 simulator, is set to boost the entire ecosystem in India. Like our other dignitaries have mentioned, the largest fleet of A320s, I believe, is from India today, with Indigo also having the highest number of orders, Air India also preferring to be more on the A320, and A350 is also coming into the fleet. I think this is going to be a great asset also for the Indian aviation industry. And having such advanced simulators locally opens doors for us to attract aviation academies, airlines, and foreign pilots towards our country. Also, I understand that there is a growing interest among airlines and manufacturers across the globe to move slightly towards single pilot operations, not the major aircrafts, but at least some people, they are trying to, for lot of other considerations, they're moving into single pilot operations. And in places like these, there is even greater responsibility on that pilot to particularly navigate through the adverse situations. So I see that advanced training for pilots, like what we are offering here in Airbus, is very, very essential for maintaining high standards in the sky. And another point I want to make is that I came to know that pilots are having to spend up to 45 hours on simulators, and then there are theory classes stretching up to 1.5 months. And if you have the training facilities near the airports and in cities like Delhi, it becomes a lot more easier to reduce the fatigue for pilots, especially when they go through this training. And another important thing I see is that we in civil aviation, we want to promote more women in the industry. And this has been a consistent effort from the ministry's side. In fact, our DGCA, Directorate General of Civil Aviation, they have made it clear that 25% of the workforce in the ministry should be, in the DGCA at least, should be 25%. And if you look at the global number of pilots, there are 5% women. If you look at the global number, it is 5% women pilots in the workforce. But if you look at India, there are 15% women in the Indian pilot workforce. So look at how much we are trying to promote women in the Indian aviation industry. And I see this growing more and more in the future also. And for women to find it more easier to get these kind of trainings, to overcome the local physical difficulties that the location or geography presents to us, I think having these kind of facilities in cities like Delhi is going to help us train more women also in the civil aviation industries. And with Airbus partnership with Air India, which includes the development of 10 full flight simulators in Gurgaon, we will now have 14 training facilities in the capital region alone, which I would like to thank both the Airbus and Air India also taking this commitment little more forward and creating more like a simulator hub in and around Delhi. And our government, under the leadership of our Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, has been continuously taking proactive steps to ensure that India produces not just pilots that are highly qualified, but are also well-groomed and well-trained. We have taken several measures to regulate and organize FTOs, flight training organizations, ensuring they maintain the highest standards of training and professionalism. The government has rationalized the license and concession fees for FTOs, promoting the growth in the country. And we have seen that in the last 3 to 4 years, 8 new FTOs have come in and 10 more are in the pipeline. As a result of this, the flying hours at Indian FTOs have increased from 1.2 lakh hours before the COVID to almost 1.63 lakh hours in the year 2021 and 1.64 lakh in 2022. And this has been possible due to the liberalized FTO policy, the abolition of airport royalties, and rationalized land rentals. Additionally, we have also empowered flying instructors to authorize flight operations at FTOs, which have increased the speed of completion of CPL requirements. The FTO fleet has expanded from 190 in 2020 to 264 in 2023. And the number of CPLs issued has surged from 744 in 2019 to 1600 in 2023 itself, which is the highest ever in the country. We are also actively working on reducing the fuel cost and other expenses associated with pilot training, which will further ease the burden on FTOs and aspiring pilots also. And we have recently passed a new legislation, Bharatiya Vayuyan Videyak, in the recently concluded Lok Sabha sessions also, where we have taken another significant step into this CPL licenses, where simplifying the issuing process for the commercial pilot license, where there was a specific radio telegraphy certificate which was supposed to be obtained from telecommunications department. We have brought it through the new legislation, we have brought it under the DGCA, under the Ministry of Civil Aviation, so that there are no other middlemen in the process, there is no duplication in the process, there is no unnecessary waste of time. So we are bringing in more ease of doing business with the obtaining of commercial pilot license also. And DGCA has also revamped the process of theory exams for issuance of CPL and AME licenses. This entire process has been digitized, including the assigning of computer number to appear for the exam. We have observed that there has been some difficulty here also. When a pilot wanted to appear for the exam, the way he has to attest all the papers required for getting a number to appear for the exam, there was a lot of physical process involved. So after me coming, we have spoken to the DGCA, we have brought in some more systems, now we have digitized it, and the applicant now can track the application in real time through Pariksha portal, and we have eliminated the need of submitting physical documents and getting them attested. Lastly, but perhaps most crucial, is the focus on skilling of the technicians, which is also happening through this facility here. And to empower the technicians, the DGCA has introduced a new online, on-demand examination system for aircraft maintenance engineers, allowing candidates the flexibility to choose their exam dates and times. This is also going to be revolutionary for the engineers who are going to appear for these exams. And additionally, we are boosting the MRO sector also by measures like introducing 5% uniform IGST rate on all the MRO items that are going to be imported or used in the MRO sector. Skilled technicians who form the backbone for the MRO industry are very, very pivotal in realizing our ambition of manufacturing our own aircraft in India. We are making aircrafts which are serving the purpose of defense, but we want to manufacture an aircraft which will serve the purpose of a civilian travel also. And that has been a dream under the visionary leadership of Honourable Prime Minister, and we are actively pursuing the dream, and we feel that Airbus has a very big role to play, and they have already been doing their bit over the years, expanding their footprint in manufacturing the important components that go into manufacturing the aircraft. And now in the recently passed Bharatiya Vahyuyan Videyak, we have mentioned that India is not just going to be a state which is going to maintain an aircraft, we are going to be a state which is going to design an aircraft, build an aircraft, manufacture, and then also maintain an aircraft. So that is also a revolutionary change in the mindset the Indian player is going to have in the future. And we want to realize that dream as soon as possible, where we say that we have proudly manufactured an aircraft, not just to cater for the demands of the Indian aviation industry, for across the globe also. Just as I say proudly that we want to make in India an aircraft that comes from Make in India, we also want to say the term train in India. I want to see in the future that any person who is passionate in civil aviation industry, aerospace industry, any course that he wants to do, it shouldn't come to him that for doing that course he has to travel abroad, do it somewhere else and comes back to India. I want to see that each and every course, no matter how small or how big it is, every single facility to train a person within the civil aviation industry, no matter what amount of work he does, what kind of work he does, it should happen in India itself. That is why I am very, very happy to see that this facility also carries the tag of strongly train in India. So how importantly we speak about Make in India, we have to strongly pursue the idea of train in India also. And as a minister, I am going to ensure that we are going to follow up on this in the future also. And together, making the dream of our Honourable Prime Minister a reality, it is very, very important that we ensure that all aspects, the training, the manufacturing, designing, all these components simultaneously take off in the rightful direction. We have built doubled our airports from 74 to 157 in the last 10 years. And we have also have another idea of increasing 50 more airports in the coming 5 years and probably 200 more airports in the next 20 to 25 years. So with these numbers, there are going to be a requirement of more skilled workforce, more pilots, more engineers into the Indian aviation system. And it is experiencing a tremendous growth. Last year itself, we have seen more than 8% increase in the domestic air traffic. And the foundation of this increase, another important aspect has been the government's vision with the Udan scheme, Ude Desh Ka Aam Nagrik. This has also been a brainchild of our Honourable Prime Minister, which has revolutionized the air travel network in the country. Now, one idea we had was, let us build more airports. But the challenge was, how do we connect these airports? How do we bring more people into the air travel network? How do we democratize air travel? How do we make it more convenient, more affordable? That was the real question the Indian market was asking us. So an answer for that was the Udan scheme, and in the last 8 years, we have just celebrated 8 years of successful completion of Udan, and the numbers Udan has shown us the true potential. If you kind of facilitate a little bit into giving the kind of connectivity or affordability into the air travel network, then sky is the limit for us. And that is what we have seen in 8 years of Udan scheme. And how we want to progress towards that side is, Udan was envisioned for 10 years. 8 years we have completed, but we see with the progress that we have achieved that we want to extend it for another 10 years. So this is another great opportunity for the airlines, for the Airbus, aircraft manufacturers and all, to tap into the growing airport infrastructure in the country also. And we have seen that Airbus, like I've said, has played a very big role, and it has a very big role in the future also. Indigo has been one of the success stories in Indian, not just Indian, international airline industry also. And they have completely used the A320s to the much of their fleet. They have totally used them to their advantage, and we have seen what kind of strength it gives to an airline when they go into that model. And similarly, Air India also has a lot of orders with Airbus, and with the whole aviation system gearing up with these kind of collaborations, I think in the coming future we have a lot more to look forward to, lot more to milestones that we are going to unfold in front of us. And with these comments, I would like to once again thank Airbus for all the things it has been doing for over past 6 decades. And another point that I would want to make to Airbus, now that it's training these commercial pilots also, another thing I want to see is the helicopter operations also growing in the country. Airbus is already collaborating into making these aircraft helicopters in the country. H125, they're collaborating, and it's going to be launched soon also. The facilities are going to start. But what we have to really look into is training the pilots for helicopters. That has become a slight challenge for us. So just like how you have brought in these systems for the commercial aircrafts, A320s and other planes that you're manufacturing, I think one thought has to be put into how do we train more pilots in the helicopter network. If we want to expand the helicopter operations in the country, I think one bottleneck that we have to address is the Helicopter Pilot Training Institute. We just have one in the country. So we have a potential to have a lot more. I think Airbus has a role to play there. It has to push, it has to come forward and help us in that area. So that is one point that I wanted to make. And on top of that, I would conclude by reiterating that the establishment of Airbus headquarters and training center here in Delhi is a very, very monumental step. It would create a ripple effect of economic benefits through job creation, technology transfers, and knowledge exchange, while addressing the critical need for training more pilots in this country. I congratulate everyone who is involved in this project and for the vision, their dedication and commitment to getting it done in such a wonderful manner. And I now look forward to meeting each and every one of you, and especially you being in that simulator. So I'm looking forward to being in that. And once again, my sincere, heartfelt gratitude to all the people who are involved in aviation industry because of the efforts that you have all been putting in. No matter how isolated you are or how individually you are doing it, but because of the efforts you have all put in, collectively, I am globally claiming the credit that Indian airspace is one of the best in the whole world. So the credit goes to all of you who are involved in this industry. So through this platform, I would once again want to congratulate, thank all the efforts everyone is putting to take the Indian skies more higher. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.